We almost had 3 sweeps in a row, but I'll take 3 winning days. I won't get too greedy. Yesterday was almost another beautiful day for us here on the channel, but we'll take the winning day. I'm going to break down how we did yesterday and also get into our plays for today. This is the free 3. Let's keep the hot streak going.
Noble, I also love your YouTube videos. I watched them while I was gone. That was fire.
But getting paid because yesterday we had a full sweep. My going under, that was just icing on the cake. Why are we going to go in such a weak AFC South? Unless we have the NBA Blowout Association.
Bang! Knicks take a 1-point lead with 13
When you hear the sirens, you know what that means.
You got barbecue back there, and you didn't invite me. Hurt my feelings.
Good morning, what is up, my friends? It is your boy Noble Living back with another DYF Bets video where I'm breaking down my favorite picks and plays of the day as we just try to get to the bag together and make that money. Well, we can't do the horn today because officially it wasn't a sweep, but we could do a little round of applause. Why? Because we've done 3 winning days on the channel. We've been doing really good here. Hopefully you guys have been tailing the baseball bets, the NBA bets, the player props. It's just all been going well over the last month or so for us. We've been making a lot of money here, and it's been just really fun to talk sports with you guys. I appreciate all the love and support for the people who come back every day, the people who've been DMing me, dropping comments. Man, I really appreciate it, guys. It makes it even more fun as we continue to try to beat the sports books, because that is the enemy. Yesterday was officially a 2-in-1 day. Like I said, it should have been a 3-0 day, but it will take the 2-in-1 day. So you can see we were up here about $120 on the day. Not too bad. Our first win of the day was Isaiah Colliver, over 16.5 points and assists. Well, he finished with 32 points and assists. I tell you guys, sometimes I like to ladder some of the legs. I don't give them out as official plays, but I give them out so this way you guys know, hey, if you like it at 17, maybe take it at 20, then maybe sprinkle a little bit on 25, because guess what? You get days like this. Our second parlay of the day, OG Anunoby, DeRozan, 20 plus points, and then we need Anunoby for 18 or 15. I told you could go 15 points for him and 10 assists for Trae Young, and that would have cashed as well. You can see we got this at plus 116 odds. DeRozan was really quiet for the first 3 quarters, which is probably the reason. I don't want to talk about it just yet, but it was probably the reason why the Kings lost. But DeRozan got it going in the 4th quarter there, so we got that little prop builder there. And then I told you yesterday it was the Mets and the Phillies. And then what happened was I threw in the Kings because I wanted to get greedy to get to plus money. And the problem was, instead of the Kings, I really should have thrown the Thunder in there because they're a little bit more reliable of team. But I like the situational spot for the Kings, given the fact that they needed to win this game against a non-inferior opponent going into playoff positioning. And they didn't play hard until 5 minutes left to go in the game. It was a little bit too late. Shout out to the Wizards. They hit shots. I was sweating that game out. And, you know, really, this bet parlay was really cooked from the Mets. The Mets, they should have lost their game. And Pete Alonso hit a home run in the bottom of the 8th or top of the 9th inning, a 3-run shot. So it was like this bet right here was really the one I was worried about, and that's what led to yesterday's kind of like big loss for me. So I want to kind of talk about this real quickly because I want to start talking a little bit more gambling strategy on the channel a little bit, not just the plays, but I'm going to talk about this real fast. So yesterday, right, I knew the Mets were probably going to lose. This was like my first big parlay of the day, this one right here that I put together for you guys on stream. Mets, Phillies, Kings. So once I realized this one was going to lose, then I kind of re-hedged it with Phillies, Kings, Dodgers. Not too bad. And obviously you can see here the odds had changed on the Kings, so that game was probably live at that point. So I still liked it, right? But this was the issue here. I overextended myself a little bit too much, and I took 2 more parlays. I took one with Boise, the Cavs, and I took the Kings at halftime when they were down by like 2 points. And then this was one I locked in earlier in the day. This was my long shot of the day. This was like plus 700 or something like that. And this one, you can see everything hit except for the Kings. But what's the issue here? I show you guys the money line parlay strategy that we're utilizing over the last few weeks or the last few months or so, because you can throw other teams like the Cavs when they get down, or the Boise State when they're beating Butler handily. You see here we have the Padres, here we have the Thunder. But one thing that you do want to make sure that you're doing is you're not over leveraging yourself with one leg with too much exposure. So you can see here in these 4 parlays, every other leg hit. Dodgers hit, Phillies hit, Mets hit, Cavs hit, Boise hit, Padres hit. but the Kings were in every single lay. So I lost. Why? Because I had too much risk. So for me, what I typically like to do is like 1 to 2 lays is where you're going to get 1 risk. And if anything, what I should have really did was, you see how the Kings and Thunder are similar odds here? I should have then replaced, instead of doing the Kings here, I should have done the Thunder here and done Philly, Thunders, Dodgers. So now I have double exposure on the Phillies, but less exposure on the Kings. So this is just one of those strategies that you guys got to implement, especially if you're volume betting. So this way you don't get into a situation like this where you are too over leveraged. And the only reason why I got into that situation, if I'm being honest, is I'm traveling from New York today. So my goal was to, if you look at the baseball slate, it's not too many games on today. NBA slate is not too good. So I wanted to make a majority of my money yesterday, so I didn't have to worry about betting too much today. Well, that obviously didn't work in my favor, but the days like that happen, and you have to be okay with it. If we lose a minus 700 favorite, then most times it's not going to happen. So we got to live, we got to learn, we got to move on. All right. So for today's video, guys, let's talk about the bets real quickly. All right. Glad to see you made some bread yesterday, Bobby. Appreciate you tapping in, bro. Let's talk about baseball real quickly. We do have a very short card today, only about 4 or 5 games. I don't want to touch the Phillies on the money line because Taijuan Walker is god-awful. I do like the over in the Rockies-Phillies game, but the game that I'm going to take a look at is going to be between the D-backs and the Yankees. If we look at the D-backs and the Yankees, you can see the Yankees are 3-2, but they've dropped 2 straight games. Meanwhile, the D-backs are 4-2, and those 2 straight games that the Yankees have lost have been to this D-backs teams thus far on the road. The Yankees started off the year 3-0, sweeping the Brewers, and everybody thought this Yankees team was going to be a little bit different. That offense looked crazy, but since then they've kind of cooled off a little bit, and now that I don't like the pitching matchup that we have here. Merrill Kelly's on the mound for the D-backs, while Carlos Carrasco's on the mound for the Yankees, and I think there's a huge disparity there. As Merrill Kelly, he's been very solid number 2 option behind Zach Gallen for the D-backs for the last several years, but this year he's actually probably even in a better position because he's the number 3 pitcher. Because keep in mind, they got Corbin Burns now at the number 1, Zach Gallen at the number 2, who pitched 8 innings of incredible baseball, shutout baseball last night, and then now you've got Merrill Kelly as your number 3 pitcher. That's a very tough for a lot of teams to kind of match up against, and that means that you should see a lot of wins for Merrill Kelly this year, even if his ERA is not the lowest, or even if he doesn't have the best of starts. He has 1 start under his belt this year, 5 1/3 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned run. The 4 walks have always been a problem for him, but you love to see the fact that he's gotten some offensive support, and that's what I think is the big key for the Diamondbacks this season, if to be able to compete with the teams like the Dodgers and the Padres, is to get that offensive support. So what is the best bet that we're going to go with for today? We're going to do a split bet here. We're going to go D-backs on the first 5, and then we're also going to go with the D-backs on the full game money line. We can get this both at very good odds value. You can see we can get this about plus 100 odds value for the full game. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do about a half a unit on the full game, and then I'm going to do a half a unit on the first 5 money line. And make sure you shop around here. You can see you can get some minus 105s on some books, minus 120s on some books, minus 115s. So make sure you guys shop around here so you can get the best value here. But we're going to go half a unit on each play, full game and first 5. And the reason why I kind of want to split it here is just because I want to get a good feel for both of these pitchers, or just for baseball right now. And I do think the D-backs should be winning after the first 5, because this is more of a fade on Carlos Carrasco. You can see he has a 13.5 ERA to start the year. His first start against the Brewers was god-awful. 2 innings, 5 hits, 3 earned runs, and 1 home run. But the thing was, he got pulled pretty early, and then you could see the Yankees scored 20 runs in that game, so it doesn't matter what type of pitcher you are, you probably would have won that game regardless. But for me, going against a Diamondbacks team that has several weapons, like Corbin Carroll, like Jay Berger, they brought in so many different guys this offseason to really help booster kind of like that lineup. You saw them get 4 runs out the gate yesterday, 2 runs in the first inning, 2 runs in the second inning. They didn't have to score after that. Lourdes Gurriel, he's hit 2 home runs so far in the series. You got Marte, you've got Naylor, so you've got some good players there for the Diamondbacks. And again, the Yankees, they're still dealing with a few bit of injuries with Stanton and a few of the other guys. Goldschmidt's just not the same hitter as he used to be. And then we know everything with the torpedo bat. There's just a lot of I just don't think this Yankees offense is as good as we're really seeing. And if you have a pitcher that you can't really trust like Carrasco, then we don't know. Obviously, we saw the Yankees score 3 runs in the bottom of the 9th inning yesterday. So for me, I don't want to touch the bullpens. That's why I'm splitting it between first 5 and the full game, because I do think the D-backs could be winning after the first 5. Just in case the bullpen does collapse for them, which is the weakness of their pitching staff, then we're just going to hedge off of it, and we're going to do the first 5 to go off for the full game. But I do think they should win the game today. They should sweep the Yankees in this series. series, and we're going to go with that for the baseball bet of the day. All right, so let's lock that in. Okay, appreciate you guys. Cookie Carrasco, man, that's for sure. That's what we got him. Cookie Carrasco, appreciate you. The second bet of the day, all right, is going to be in the NBA. So one baseball bet for today. That's all I've got for you guys in the baseball. The other leans for me today would be I like the Twins today on the money line, and I do like the Brewers today on the money line. The Reds offense is god awful, and I think Nestor Cortez could have a bounce back day, but that's really it for baseball. For NBA, we have a lot of big spreads, again, similar to what we said yesterday, and I told you guys to tread lightly yesterday, and I obviously didn't heed my own advice, or we wouldn't have had the Sacramento Kings loss. But the first best bet of the day is going to be a player prop, and it's going to be the Bigs parlay. It's actually not going to be a parlay, I'm sorry. It's going to be just Bigs player props. So the first one is going to be Brook Lopez over 1.5 3-pointers. And I know you guys might not like some of these plays like the Isaiah Collier, but these player props have been smacking for us, guys. So let's go over here to Doink Sports and look at Brook Lopez real quickly. Last game against the Suns, he had 22 points. Not too bad on 10 of 13 shooting, on 2 of 3 from the 3-point line. You could see recently, you know, he only had 5 points here, 7 points here, but 26, 23, 21, 16. So he stepped up pretty significantly for the Bucks, not only since the Bobby Portis suspension, but also since the Damian Lillard kind of getting ruled out for injury. But this is not as much of a play on Brook Lopez for me as it is against what the 76ers like to do on defense, or what I should say, the lack of thereof, or what they can't do. They do not guard the center position very well. You can see from a points perspective, a lot of centers score on them. 19 points for Chet, 18 points for Miles Turner, 25 points for Walker Kessler. But then also look at the 3-point line. And I did similar players to Brook Lopez. So if you just look at the starting line, it's a lot more red. But if you go similar players, which are stretch big men, then you could see it starts getting a little bit more green for us. And especially on the 3-point line. 8 of the last 10 centers have hit 2 3-pointers on the 76ers. Chet, 2 3-pointers. Miles Turner, 2 3-pointers. Kyle Filipowski, 4 3-pointers. Reed, 5 3-pointers. Porzingis, 3-pointers. Horford, 3 3-pointers. So Brook Lopez, we know these are days that he can shoot 6 3-pointers, 6 3-pointers, 4 3-pointers. He should get the volume. So for me, if the volume's going to be there, and then Giannis is a little bit banged up with injury, so he might try to not play as many minutes today or try to take the day off. I mean, it is a must-win for the Bucks. They are still in that kind of play-in, playoff positioning seeding. So this is why I'm like kind of isolating some of these teams that still have a lot to play for right now. But he's been banged up with injuries. Same thing with Kuzma, and he hasn't really been showing up really recently. Torian Prince, okay. And then they even got Ryan Hollins, who's been shooting a lot recently. But none of those guys have kind of like the veteran experience that Brook Lopez does. And I think that he has the green light, obviously, to shoot as much as he wants to. And then if we go here to Fantasy Pros and we look up real quickly, the teams that are giving up the most 3-pointers to centers this year, number 2 is the Philadelphia 76ers. And if we go for a little bit of a more narrow sample size over the last 30 days, that number actually increases from 1.75 to over 2, and they jump up to the number 1 team in the NBA, giving up 3-pointers to the center position. No other big men do I want to take in terms of hitting 3-pointers than Brook Lopez in a game where it matters. So for me, Brook Lopez against the 76ers, obviously we have to worry about blowout potentials as well, but we've been seeing some of these teams like the Wizards yesterday play hard and keep some of these games competitive and close. So 1.5 3-pointers. When I looked it up, the odds was at -105. So you can see already it's jumped since the time that I've started to film this. So which is just like really annoying a lot of times, because most times when I lock this in, it's like way better odds value, but it's okay. We're going to do it at -120. We're going to go Brook Lopez for 1.5 3-pointers. So our third and final best bet of the day. Let me see. Hold on. I got a few questions in the chat. What's your pivot on Prize Picks if they only are given the demon? Oh, man, that's tough. If they're only going for the demon on Prize Picks, then I would just maybe go for the points. I would just go for the points at 14.5 because, like I said, they still are giving up a good amount of points. The PR is not bad. The PR isn't bad as well. If they have the Goblin, maybe go for the Goblin and then pair it with something else like this next best bet that we have, which is going to be Mr. Rudy Gobert for the double-double. And I said I'm taking big men's on the parlays today. Or not on the parlay, but on the player prop today. And the reason why I like Gobert today is because this game between the Wolves and the Nets is one of those games kind of similar to the Kings yesterday. The Nets are that type of team that can keep it scrappy, that can keep it close, but the Wolves are also just that bad enough to where they just play around with their food enough. And this could be a close game in the fourth quarter, which could mean minutes. And if that means minutes, that means Rudy Gobert should be on the floor. But the Nets have had trouble guarding the center position all year. Look at this green over the last 10 games. All 10 centers have gone over the number of 11.5 points, which is Rudy Gobert's line. They've been averaging 20 points per game. And these are guys like Daniel Gafford, like Alex Sarr, like Zubac, like Orlando Robinson, like Kai Jones, Miles Turner. These are not all-star names, guys. These are not, like, most times I'm not a big fan of betting on guys like Rudy because it's not like he can go out and get his own shot. It's not like he can go create something. Like DeRozan had like 9 points in the fourth quarter last night, and he went and got a bucket. He got to the free throw line. Like, you can't expect that from a player like Gobert. If Ant is deciding to ball hog tonight, or Julius Randle is deciding to just play that bully ball, there's nothing we could really do about it. But also at the same time, when you look at the numbers and how he's been performing recently, 19 points, 17 against the Suns, 16 against the Pacers, 15 against the Pelicans, averaging 12.9 over the last 10 games, it gives me a little bit more confidence. And instead of going with the player line at 11.5, I'm just going to go with the double-double because rebounding has been very good for him as well. 12 boards last game, 25 the game before that, 13 the game before that, 16 against the Pacers. So he's gone over in 5 straight games. And then, again, if you look at some of the rebounding for the center position for the Brooklyn Nets, then you can see here that you've had guys like Zubac who had 12, Robinson had 12, Turner, who's not even a big rebound guy, neither is Porzingis, had 13 and 10 respectively. So I like for Gobert to be active on the boards, and I think that this is a game that does have blowout potentials, but I think can stay way closer than we may think than the 13.5 point spread. And if it does happen, then they might pull away late. So I kind of like the way that Gobert's been playing lately. I just want to kind of take the tease down line. 12 points, 12 rebounds he's been averaging over the last 10, but let's just lower that down. And then against Brooklyn, you can see at 10 points, 13 boards, 12 points, 12 boards, 26 and 13 the last 3 times that he's played them. So he's had success against Brooklyn in the past as well. So these are all reasons why I kind of like Gobert today. And then, yeah, I think it's pretty good look. And I think there's one more stat that I had. Maybe it's like points here, and I think maybe the Nets are up here as well. Yeah, you can see here they're top 10 in points allowed to the center position, and then if we go to the rebound position, they're also top 10 as well. The Nets are to the center position. So they've been exposed by centers this year, and again, this is just a good angle that I like, and we're going to go Rudy Gobert. When I saw it this morning, it was plus 105, but if we go look it in right now, it probably is moved down to like, okay, we can get at minus 105. That's still not too bad for 1 unit down on that. So that is what we're locking in today, guys, on the free 3. No money line parlays for us today, but I will craft a prop builder. I can kind of tell it to you guys since you guys are live here, but I'll plug it on an action here in a second. But before we do that, let me break down what we got for today, guys. We got Rudy Gobert for a double-double as the Minnesota Timberwolves are taking on the Brooklyn Nets. We're going to go Brook Lopez over 1.5 3-pointers. If you cannot, I would do the 2.5 Demon as well, but if not, then I would pivot to maybe just the points or the points and rebounds. And then I'm going to go D-backs for half a unit on the first 5 money line, and then another half a unit on the full game money line, as I believe that they sweep the Yankees today. For my builder prop of the day, I've been playing around with a few, but what I'm going to do real quickly is let me see if I can, hold on, pull this up real quick. See if I have it on DraftKings, because I was playing around with a few on DraftKings. Okay, so there's one builder prop that I can give you guys, or one builder lay that I can give you guys real quickly on DraftKings here. And this was one I was playing with, and this is in college basketball. So I am going to take Chattanooga on the money line today in the NIT against UC Irvine. That is my alma mater. I'm a homer. I'm going to take them. I do think that UC Irvine should beat them, though. I do think this is where the bus comes to an end. So, since I don't want to be biased and bet against my team, I would do Villanova on the money line in the college basketball crown quarterfinals. Eric Dixon's the best player on the court. They have the better players. They should beat USC. USC is going to play hard because Eric Musselman's just that type of coach, but Villanova should get the win. And then I would take Chattanooga on a T spread to plus like 8.5, plus 7.5, plus 9.5. That gets you to about plus 100 value there. So if UC Irvine should win on the money line, but I do think it's a one-possession game. I think Chattanooga can cover the 3.5 points, but I think we can get a better number live, and which is what I'm going to do. And I'm also going to sprinkle a little bit on the money line live if I can get them at like plus 200 or better. But I do think that this is UC Irvine's game to lose, and they are the better team in this situational spot. But Chattanooga could hit enough three-pointers to where it can keep them in any game, but I want to just take the plus 8.5 there. So that's something I'm playing around with. It's a little college basketball money line lay for you guys, or like a little builder lay. And I'll have one more in a player prop for you guys, but like I said, I'll lock that one in on action for you guys. All right, so that is it for me today, my friends. Appreciate y'all for tapping in this morning. That is, I might have one or two more plays on action, but like I said, I'm traveling today. I'm going to be on the road. I'm going to fly out of New York here in a bit, so I might not be able to put in too many plays, and we just want to take it a little light. Today's like not a crazy board unless I start seeing more things, and then from there, we'll bounce back. We have tomorrow. We have Saturday. We have a lot of days ahead of us, so no need to force anything, all right? Appreciate y'all for tapping in. As always, comment, subscribe, and if you need anything, just, let me know. Drop a comment. If we sweep the board, I got you guys. Question, do I like Cincinnati today? I do like Cincinnati. I do like Cincinnati today on the money line. I do like them today. The only thing that worries about me that game is that total is very high. 154 is a very high total for a Cincinnati game. Obviously, in the postseason, we have seen a whole lot of overs, especially in these like NITs and college basketball crowns because teams are not really playing defense. But Cincinnati, is more of a defensive-minded team. So if it is an over game, 160, 170 points, I do think that could favor the other team there. But I do think Cincinnati is a good look. So that's, do with that as you will. I would put them in like in a money line, like maybe them and Villanova on the money line. That might not be too bad if you just want to keep it with the CBC. That shouldn't be too bad. So that's what I got for you guys. Appreciate you, Jesus. Appreciate everybody for tapping in, guys. Let's have a day, and I'll see y'all in tomorrow's video. Let's run up a bag. Later, gang.